Hey y'all, welcome back to Made It Out. Today's conversation is one of my favorite ones that I've had and one that I do not take for granted. It's with a pioneer in our community. You may know her from The First Wives Club, Orange is the New Black. She's a comedian, she's an actor. She was an EP on the Lesbian Bar Project. She's really done it all. It's Lea DeLaria, and she schools me a little bit on queer history. And, you know, we have this podcast and we want to make change and we want to tell gay stories, but I think sometimes we forget that we're not so far removed from a time where things were very, very different. And to understand and be able to not repeat history, we need to know our history. And this conversation really made me want to dig in more and learn more about our community so that I can be a better part of our fight today. And I hope it does the same for you. Okay, thank you for being here. We've already had such a blast. We haven't even started. I want to start right up top. Let's get this out of the way.
Okay.
You wrote the iconic U-Haul joke.
Yes, I did.
Can you tell me the joke?
I think everybody can tell you the joke.
Well,
what does a lesbian bring on a second date? A U-Haul. I also wrote the companion joke. What does a gay man bring on a second date? What second date?
I love it so much. I want to know your life that led you up to that joke. Can you start me?
Oh my God.
I want to know your childhood.
I mean, I was, I knew I was a dyke when I was young, like 15. And I used to sneak out of the house and go to a dyke bar in East St. Louis, because I grew up in a little town called Belleville, Illinois, which has been surrounded by an information-proof shield since about 1930. But very working class suburb of St. Louis, basically. So there was a bus that would drive down Main Street and take me right to the Red Bull, which was the name of the bar. And I would, hang out there. I would stay there until 4 o'clock in the morning when the bar closed.
At 15?
Yeah, and then I'd go home.
What were your parents like?
My parents had no fucking clue I was doing that. Let's be clear.
Where they are.
My parents tried when I was really young and a troublemaker. I've always been a troublemaker. Catholic school. They were like, "We're going to put you in a convent." It's like, I remember at the time going, "Yeah, go ahead, punish me. Put me in a house that has only women. Make me sleep there and eat there." It's called the convent, taken from the Latin convenient. and please punish me. So, literally, my father had no clue when I came out. When I finally told him when I was 30, I waited a minute to tell him.
Whoa.
He had no clue.
Oh my God.
My mom was like, "Wow, what are you going to do now? Play softball?" She knew completely. My siblings knew completely.
Oh my God.
My dad was one of those, total Catholic.
Because,
the basis of Catholicism is ignore it and it will go away. It will disappear. All you have to do is ignore it.
Yeah.
That is the Catholic faith in a nutshell, boys and girls.
What about how you felt about being gay?
I was always pretty cool with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I very rarely maybe in high school I was I lied a little bit, but then, by the time I was a senior, I just went, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
And that was kind of way before anybody else was doing that.
Yeah.
That was pre the White Night Riots. You know what I mean? This was 1976. So
what's the White Night Rides?
I just
passed away.
I just died. That's when Dan White killed Harvey Milk. And they had huge riots in San Francisco in 1997.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
I'm sorry, in 1979. I did that backwards. But so I mean, there was the Stonewall riots in '69, and that would be what we consider the birth of the modern gay movement here in America. But you still didn't really see a lot of things on television or hear a lot about being gay until the White Night riots happened. So about 10 years later is when it became more something people talked about every day. You know what I mean? But the first gay pride march I ever went to was in St. Louis in 1978 or 9? No, 78. And there were about, 200 of us. And many of them were wearing masks because they didn't want to be fired.
Wow.
Right? So everything has changed for you guys, like in an immense way.
Yeah.
You know?
How did it change just in
Obviously, because you didn't know what the White Night riots.
Yeah,
oh
I know.
my God.
I know, this is bad. I'm
That
gonna
is
get
so
crucified.
bad. We literally just talked about San Francisco.
Oh, I'm gonna get crucified by the listeners.
Oh my God. Crucify her.
So how did it change though in your life? Like, what did that look like at school, pre?
It changed everything in my life. I mean, I'm of a generation. I know what it feels like to have a cop's foot on my body and a gun pulled in my face saying, give me a reason to shoot you, you fucking dyke. I mean, I know what that's like. I've been arrested in both Illinois and Missouri for open and notorious homosexuality, which I think is still on the books in Missouri. I know it's not in Illinois.
So when
I came out, it was illegal to be gay in every state of the United States.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, this is what we've been trying to change. This has been my life's work.
Right.
And now this fucking orange Nazi and his Nazi butt boy are trying to take it all back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not just that. I mean, they're literally talking about taking away a woman's right to vote. Yeah. I mean, these guys are fucking insane.
Yeah.
So, a lot of queers right now I'm noticing are the word is not complacent. It's they're tired. And they just don't want to deal anymore. And the reality is this is not the time for you to be tired. This is the time. And if I'm saying that, as old as I am, get your fucking butts up and get out and do the protest. In fact, throw a couple of fucking bombs. I'm done with protests. Yeah. Carry a fucking baseball bat and wreck every Tesla that you see. Go to the White House every fucking day and stand there with a sign that says, I'm queer. And I'm gonna kill you. I'm so fucking done with it.
Yeah.
Right? I know everybody's like, you shouldn't preach violence. You know what? They're violent.
Yeah.
And do you think that woman in Florida would have a federal crime against her if she wasn't a fucking dyke for putting a wad of chewing gum in a Tesla? Have you seen her picture? If that was a straight woman, she would have spent a night in jail and a $50 fine. That was a fucking dyke. Look at her. It's time for us to get really fucking angry again.
Yeah.
Not angry, because anger is a shitty little emotion. Rage. Get in touch with your fucking rage. Get in touch with your rage, because rage gets shit done.
It's interesting because Mathilde is an immigrant. She's been trying to get her green card for years and years and years and years. It's 13 years. And we're right at the point where she's there. She's like 4 months from it.
Fuck.
And we are literally supposed to go to Europe right after this.
Fuck.
And we've been told, her lawyer called yesterday, her family lawyer, and said, hey, I think you should really reconsider going home, because they're checking social media and our entire platform, our entire company.
They're going to confiscate your phone. You know about that, right? You can't go. You know that, right? You won't be able to come back.
What's so heartbreaking, though, is she has a 92-year-old grandfather who she's extremely close with. She's also lost her mom. And so her family is her
I
grandfather.
Understand.
And so we're like, this is so
Unless
fucked.
you're prepared to live in, Portugal, which is okay.
I know. I'm like, hey,
I'm
babe,
just gonna
I'm good with
say,
it.
I might be there right after you.
I know, come on down.
If he gets rid of term limits, hi, Portugal.
Yeah. I mean, but we're just kind of in this place of like, I think everybody thinks, oh, it won't touch me. You think you're protected, and not saying that this is how we felt.
We've been here before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When people say that, it's like, have you learned nothing from the history of the world? The asshole literally said yesterday that the Nazis were good to Jews because they gave them extra bread.
Oh my God.
Why did they have to give them bread?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that? They came for this person. They came for this. They came for that. But when they come for me, what the fuck? If they come for anybody, stand the fuck up.
Yeah. Can you talk to maybe some
I can talk to anything.
Yeah, I want to hear some of the parallels, because you really have seen kind of queer history, you've seen progression, and then now you're seeing regression.
Yeah.
And so I want to talk about how it's enraging, I know, but I want to talk about kind of what that looks like from your lens.
I remember when they fucking elected George W. Bush. How fucking infuriating it was. And how, it was trust for stand-ups, it was gold. I mean, you couldn't write the shit. Yeah. You couldn't write the shit. All I had to do was say shit. I mean, it was like, the guy fucking knocked himself out eating a potato chip. I mean, he fucking fell off the couch, hit his head, and knocked himself out eating a potato chip. And even his dog didn't care. His dog walked out of the room. So, I mean, the guy was a complete baboon and buffoon and idiot, okay? He wasn't evil. He was not the personification of evil.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. Trump is evil. He's fucking evil. He cares not about anything but his own person. He doesn't even give a fuck about his wife and kids. We all know this, right? Yeah. He cares nothing about anything but his own person and money. That's all he cares about.
Right.
And power is the way to deal with both those things.
Yeah.
So I protested. I did all that shit with George W. Bush. This guy makes me want to go underground and plant bombs.
Yeah.
And it's because he is evil and he will destroy our country. And America has had so many problems. And there are going to be people out there that are going to be really pissed off at me right now. America has always had issues, but what country hasn't? And possibly America was probably the greatest country that you could possibly live in. We had made it that way through decades and decades and decades of protests and everything that we've done to change this country to make it a better place for people to live. And he is destroying it, and it's been less than 100 days.
Yeah.
And these fucking idiots, by the way, we've all met them. These fucking idiots that are like, well, I voted for him because I didn't think he was going to do this. He told you he was going to do this. Sorry, that's my rage. It's just coming out. He told you from day one he was going to do everything that he did. I thought he was joking. You're a fucking idiot. I remember this headline. It was last week. Farmers upset about whatever. And it was Trump upset about tariffs, upset about that. You shouldn't have voted for him then, because we all know all the fucking farmers voted for this dick.
100%. You know where I think there's a disconnect?
I can't wait.
Well, I think you've lived through a lot of this to feel the rage. And I think we
bitches, I'm just going to say it. I often think in my heart of hearts, oh, I wish they could have just felt some of this, you know? I wish that you had felt a little bit of this hatred when you were growing up. You know, I wish that you'd have been oppressed like I was just once. I mean, you guys fucking had gay alliance in high school. You had fucking gay clubs in high school. We had a dyke club in high school. It was called PE. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's how much, but that's the progress that we have made.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And that sort of progress comes, I mean, I've seen both sides of this. I mean, we know that I did a series called The Lesbian Bar Project, for which I won an Emmy. Just gonna say that. And, and the reason that we did the Lesbian Bar Project is because dyke bars are fucking disappearing everywhere. When I came out, the dyke bar was where you went. That's where you went. That's where you went to meet friends. That's where you went to shoot pool. That's where you went to fuck. I mean, that was it. And they are disappearing in a major way. And some of that is all the things about being women and lesbians that we know, that we make less money, that it's, you know, we stay home because we can't afford to spend money. But some of that is because of what we have accomplished, right? Some of that is because we're not lesbians anymore. We're queer women. Why would I want to go to a place with just dykes when I can hang out with all of my community? That concept, right? And I feel very strongly that safe spaces for us as women, as lesbians, as queer women, is very important. Sometimes you just need to be with your own.
Yeah.
You know, and you're going to find out when it's too late that you need to be with your own.
Yeah.
Right?
So the lesbian bar scene when you were coming out.
That was it.
What did that look like though? Because
it was great.
Was it still not okay? Like there was bars in a time when it wasn't okay to be gay, and is that where the police were coming? And like, what did that all look like?
Oh yeah. I mean, I came out when I was at the dyke bars. It wasn't like, for example, in the 60s and the 50s. So, for example, if you were wearing another gender's clothes, you could be thrown in jail, right? So I wasn't. I came out and was in the bars after that, just after that.
Okay.
Right? So, yeah, the cops would come in. I remember when they raided Pegs in San Francisco, and they came in and they taped over their names.
Oh, no.
And had taken their badges off and broke up Pegs, like broke it up and crushed some heads and stuff like that. So that was the 1970s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's where I was.
Yeah.
The dyke bar in St. Louis that I hung out at regularly was firebombed. And they blamed it on the owner. And there was this fantastic rabbi. This is the beginning of me adoring Jews. This was at the very beginning of me adoring Jews. Was this rabbi who came when this happened and said, "This is Kristallnacht all over again. They've blown this bar up, and you're blaming the owner." And I just looked at him and went, "I love the Jews. I love you." And so that happened. And I told you, you know, when my first gay pride march, people in masks, they didn't want to be fired.
Yeah.
So that was where I grew up. You know, I grew up with, they were trying, with Anita Bryant, for example, who tried to make it illegal for gay people to teach.
Yeah.
And she got that done in a lot of states.
Anita Bryant is the pie in the face.
Anita Bryant was she was a Miss America, and she was a spokesperson for orange juice. She's, once again, Florida.
Yeah.
She had an organization, was a Christian organization called Save the Children.
Yeah.
And she tried to make it illegal for gay people to teach because they would molest kids. Never mind that it's always 99.9% of the time a man molesting a girl.
Yeah.
Never mind that.
Yeah.
Because, that's what gay people do. They molest children.
Right.
Along with all the other fucking myths that we've endured for our entire life.
She was the 80s.
Anita Bryant, yeah, late 70s, early 80s.
And
by about 1982, she always looked bad because she couldn't get a single man to do her hair.
the gay said, no more.
No. Gotta make the gay hair joke. You gotta. You just gotta.
So then what did it look like going into the 90s? How did that progress and change?
Well, and remember, I became a famous gay person in San Francisco in the 1980s.
Okay.
So think about what I just said. San Francisco in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Famous gay person. So I stopped counting my dead friends at 86 dead friends. I stopped counting. Ugh. Yeah. That was, I mean, I just went, I can't anymore. I stopped going to memorial services. I stopped doing, because it was just, it was too much. And again, that's when I got in touch with my rage. So I was out there with Larry and a lot of people in ACT UP. And in fact, I was at the very first Dyke March.
Wow.
In New York City. And it was me and Kate Clinton at the front of the march, right? So we're like at the front of the march and we're walking on the fucking sidewalk, right? And Kate and I are like, why are we on the sidewalk? And they're like, oh, we couldn't get a permit. And Kate and I went, who needs a fucking permit? And we moved everybody out into the street. Wow. We moved everybody out onto Fifth Avenue. We just fucking moved everybody out. And there were actually a lot of us. This was because this was right after what happened in Wyoming, right? So everybody.
Hold on, what happened in Wyoming? I'm just, for context, for the listeners, for me, I'm thinking if I don't know it, they're not going to know it. I'm sorry, Leah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
A young gay man was murdered in Wyoming and hung on a fence.
Oh, fuck.
Do you not know this? Okay. Anyway. I'm not even going to Google it. Google it. And one more thing. If you don't know your history, you are doomed to repeat it. Know your fucking queer history.
That's fair.
So, yeah, we just moved everybody out in the street, me and Kate. And then the cops couldn't arrest us all. You know what I mean? So they acquiesced. They stopped traffic. And we marched down Fifth Avenue.
Do you know
Have you never seen the Laramie Project? Oh my God.
Leah's gonna kill me.
I'm gonna.
Leah's gonna. I think she's gonna crash out right here. I know she's gonna
on your podcast. Look, they're Googling the Laramie Project.
I'm really trying.
Yeah.
This is why it's so important, I think, to have relationships with our older queer people and know these things, because they're we're trying, to do what we can, but you're right.
You've got to know your history. Yeah. I mean, this is something, fortunately or unfortunately, I've been getting a lot of work as an actor, so I haven't been doing as much stand-up. I haven't been touring. But when I was speaking at universities a lot, I talked a lot about our history. Yeah. And I did it funny. But it was information. Yeah. It let people know what we've been through and what we've done. I've always done that. Yeah. But I really, really encourage all of you to read up on queer history.
Especially now.
And look at some things. Look at some movies. Look at some things. Yeah. And see how far we've come and how much they're trying to take away.
Yeah. After that Dyke March, can you tell me some of the changes that you saw, or
everything changed? Everything changed, wow. For the way better in the 1990s, and part of that was the Clinton administration, definitely, and just the sort of liberal bent that we had. Yeah. I mean, it solidified a lot of things for us. I mean, there was flaws. Clinton did Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I mean, there were flaws. He did that, but he was also married to Hillary, so. Which gave rise to my other really famous joke where I said I like the Clinton administration because finally we have a first lady you could fuck. Which I said at the March on Washington for it was called Gay and Lesbian Rights Then, so everybody take a pill. The National March on Washington for Gay and Lesbian Rights. When he was president, I was one of the MCs, and I said that on the fucking White House lawn.
Oh my God.
And they called a special session of Congress the very next day. And I was censured by Congress. As a stand-up, you wear that badge proudly.
Iconic.
You wear that badge proudly. And there were 1 million people at that particular march, but the park police refused to say that. It was just one of those things. They just refused to say there were 1 million people because that would have made it the biggest march of all time.
Right.
And they just would not allow that to be for queer people.
Yeah.
So they were like, they did everything they could to say there wasn't 1 million, but I was there. Trust, there were 1 million people. Wow. It's a fucking insanely huge crowd.
Wow.
Yeah. That's where I met Martina Navratilova. And I walked over and I went, "Hi, I'm Lea DeLaria." And she goes, "Yeah, I know who you are." And then in my head, I'm like, "Martina Navratilova." And I was like, "Yeah, she knows who I am. I was so excited. So I said a couple things, and then I just realized I was talking to fucking Martina Navratilova, and I just went, "Oh my God, I love you so much." Blah, 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 blah. And the last thing I said was, "Are your thighs as hard in real life as they look on TV?" And she said, "I don't know, feel them." So what am I going to say? No?
Yeah, no.
So I did. It was like feeling up a Buick. I mean, I was like, are these human legs?
Oh, incredible. Okay, so we're progressing. 90s are looking good. We're touching Martina.
And then the shit hit the fan, the backfire, which is what happened after, Obama. The shit hit these bitches. We get complacent and don't go out and vote. Okay? And those
Gays
bitches,
or lesbians?
I'm talking about all of us.
All of us.
And I mean the left here.
The left.
Not the extreme left, because they're just as fucking annoying as the extreme right, as far as I'm concerned. But, the ones that say, "I'm going to vote libertarian." Why don't you just take your vote, piss on it, put some shit on it, put it in a sandwich and eat it? You fucking kidding me? So that's what happened. After the Clinton administration, people didn't go out and vote. George W. Bush got elected and things started, swinging. Mm-hmm. That's when you saw like log cabin Republicans. Mm. So then we started having to deal with that.
Yeah.
And then 9/11 happened. And to us in New York, that was horrifying.
Yeah.
And nobody in New York was not touched by 9/11. We all know somebody who died. Everybody does. And they elected him again. Mm. And that was like, to us in New York, I remember I was at the time doing Cinderella at the New York Opera with Anna Gasteyer. We were the stepsisters. And we both just looked at each other and said, it's like we've been raped again. It's like we were already raped and now we're raped again. How could people vote for this man again? Yeah. You know what I mean? And it wasn't that people voted for this man again. It was that our people didn't fucking show up.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with this last election, although I'm going to say something controversial.
Can't wait.
Everything they accuse us of is what they've done. And anybody that pays attention to the news knows whatever they say about us is exactly what they're doing. Election interference, just whatever it is, it's what they're doing. I find it interesting that they keep accusing us of stealing the election the last time, because this was supposed to be a close election that was going to take days and days and days and days. And by 11 o'clock, they announced him. 3 weeks after Elon Musk said anything can be hacked.
Yeah.
2 weeks after he said, "I don't even need your vote."
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people on our side don't want to talk about stealing elections because of what they did.
Right.
I say they were planting the seeds for what they were going to do at the next election.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you didn't come out to vote, and I think they hacked it.
Yeah. Combination of things.
Yeah, I really do.
Yeah, it is kind of eerie, like hearing you talk about the past, and then I'm mirroring it with what's going on now, and I'm just like, fuck, this is really
But why do you think
scary.
I'm so crazy right now?
Yeah.
We all need to wake up.
Yeah.
We all need to be at every protest. We all need to be like actively taking fucking charge.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I want to go back to how you in your personal life saw things shifting because of the climate, because we were in the lesbian bars, we were out, we were doing, and then when did you start seeing that kind of
I think
regress?
the thing for me was that I became a famous gay person in San Francisco in the 1980s, and that's when I went to Provincetown. So the very early 80s, I was in Provincetown performing.
Okay.
So that's at that time, and Provincetown was it. I mean, everybody in New York talks about Fire Island. Fuck Fire Island. Provincetown was it. That's where you went if you were gay. If you were queer, you fucking went to Provincetown. That was the hang. That was the party. That was the gay destination. So I became incredibly popular in Provincetown. One, because there were no dyke acts. I was the first dyke act in Provincetown. Wow. Yeah. So one, there were no dyke acts, okay? And two, gay boys fucking love me because my sense of humor is, I make fun of lesbians and their shitty sense of humor. You know what I mean? Gay boys love me because I know all the movies, I know all the musical theater, I know Judy Garland, you know what I mean? All that shit. I can do that and make the U-Haul joke. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they came in droves to my show. So that ignited me to start touring all over America and Canada. So, which I did, throughout the 80s. I was touring constantly all over America and Canada. And then in 1993, after the March on Washington, I'm having a great life. I'm making an excellent living as a dyke stand-up comic, believe it or not. In those days, they paid you the door. So you got the cash in your hand and you didn't have to tell the government or nothing. You know what I mean? So I always I'm so Sicilian. I always had a big wad of cash with a rubber band around it in my pocket. Ladies, let me buy you a drink. So 1993, I was doing a show in San Francisco at Josie's Juice Joint, which was after the Valencia Rose. First, it was the Valencia Rose. That was in the 80s. That was sort of a gay community center. That's where, for example, that's where Whoopi Goldberg and I shared a dressing room because Whoopi was doing her Mom's Mabley show and I was doing DeLaria Raging Bull. Wow. Right? That's Whoopi and I know each other for fucking ever. Wow. That's why you Google us on The View together, and you'll see me and Whoopi talking about shit. It's kind of fun. I know her for a long time. So First, it was the Valencia Rose, and then it was Josie's Juice Joint all through the 90s. So I was doing this show at Josie's Juice Joint. I always did 3 weeks, San Francisco, January, every year. Started the 3rd week of January, ran until February, and then I'd do my West Coast tour.
Okay.
I was on my way to play Highways in Los Angeles. And the Los Angeles Times wanted to do an article about me, which was exciting. So I flew down to LA. Instead of doing it over the phone, I was like, fuck that, I'm gonna fly to LA. And they did this article on me. And this was, people actually read the newspaper then. So the article came out on the Friday that I opened, and it was the entertainment section, first page of the entertainment section above the fold. Huge headline with my name and a picture. And this, we didn't have a cell phone, right? This is before cell phones. the phone went insane at highways. They were housing me. So the phone was like going fucking insane. The phone was calling nonstop. They were calling highways. They somehow got the number of the apartment at highways. They were calling me. And it was all like agents, managers, all these people that wanted to meet with me and do this stuff. And here's another name. You're going to go crazy. I've known Melissa Etheridge for a very, very long time, since she started. We both were performing at the women's music festivals in the 80s. Wow. I reached out to Melissa and I was like, I don't fucking know what to do with this. It's a lot. So she was like talking me through what I should do. And there was a knock on my door and they were like, we've got a phone call. It was from Highway. We got a phone call on the office phone. And I was like, I'm on the phone with Melissa Etheridge.
You're going to have to wait.
That's going to have to wait. And they went, it's the Arsenio Hall show. And I went, Melissa, I'll call you back. Bang. And the Arsenio Hall show put me on. So that's how I became the first openly gay comic on television in America.
Wow.
That was, the Arsenio Hall show, March 19th, 1993.
Wow.
And that show was watched worldwide. So that just put me in this whole different realm.
But also that's kind of scary in that time, no?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I literally, in my stand-up on that show, talked about RuPaul. Ru and I were it. I mean, we were at that year, 1993, Ru and I were at every fucking gay pride. He talks about it in his book that just came out, how we were just at every gay pride. It was me and Ru always traveling together, saying hi at the airport, whatever, like that. It was just sort of fantastic. But nobody. And The Advocate at the time, I did a 4-minute stand-up and I was on the couch for 5 minutes. So I was on for 9 minutes. And in the 9 minutes, I said dyke, fag, and queer 47 times. And I love that The Advocate actually did that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They counted it. But it was a big deal. They had Lea DeLaria watching parties all over Los Angeles when it was going to, if you couldn't get in, which a lot of queers came. Wow. Because they went out to the queer community and said, we're putting her on. And the queer community went insane. So the audience was very heavily full of gay people. Yeah. And the ones that couldn't get in were watching me at the Abbey and all these other fag bars in LA and in dyke bars in LA. They were, watching me on the Arsenio Hall show. It was historical. It was different, Yeah. Nobody had done that. So that then I got an agent through that. I signed with APA. I went on tour. I was everywhere. I did the Edinburgh Festival. I won Best in the Fest at the Edinburgh Festival. I went to New Zealand, Australia. I've been to Australia a million times. I love Oz. Wow. So that put me in a whole different place. So when I say that, I've been to every dyke bar in the world.
Yeah.
I've been to every dyke bar in the world.
Wow.
And the Cubbyhole is the greatest dyke bar on the planet.
Wow. Matilda and I have a goal to go to everyone.
Go.
And we've done 8 or.
Have you done the one in London that's in the West End? That's like it's like a bomb shelter.
Isn't it called
Yeah.
I get mobbed when I go there, but I fucking love that bar. Oh no, I get crazy mobbed. So whenever I go there, I try to go on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
On a quiet night.
On a quiet night, because who's ever there, they're mobbing me, and I'm getting my picture taken. I mean, that just happens everywhere. And that's the other change. So I've had. In my industry, these kind of wild, world-changing things happened 3 times. So Arsenio was the first time. The second one was when I did On the Town on Broadway. That just changed my life. And then Orange is the New Black. I mean, it's just that put me in a class of fame that is nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel
where Meryl Streep talks to me? You know what I mean?
That's wild.
I hope that never gets old, by the way. I hope you know what I mean? It's if I ever get jaded that Meryl Streep talks to me and knows my name, just poke me in the eye with a fork. I mean, it's like...
Can we talk about the impact that Orange is the New Black had on the queer community?
It's totally changed everything for us and the queer community. I mean, what Laverne did for the trans community is just it's groundbreaking, and it's amazing. And Laverne, if I text Laverne, she'll text me right back. If I texted her right now, she'll text me right back. She just, you know what I mean? It never turned her into an asshole in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
In fact, nobody on that show. We were all really good friends. When Natasha was hosting Saturday Night Live, her monologue was insanely great. So I texted her immediately afterwards. And when Natasha, that might be the best monologue I've ever seen in Saturday Night Live, right? And she texted me back right away. And I was like, girl, it's a live television show. Shouldn't you be changing your costume? Why are you looking at your phone? It was crazy. So we knew that. And I mean, we knew something really unusual was happening. We didn't know what it was going to do. That was what nobody knew.
Yeah.
Nobody had ever seen a show come out like that and have the entire world watch it. Streaming wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
You know, Netflix invented streaming, and Orange is the New Black invented Netflix. So that's a fact. And Netflix will be the first one to tell you that. So none of us were prepared for what was going to happen. We were seen.
You were seen.
We were seen for the first time. You know, let me be really clear about this. Again, I've been around for a minute. We've talked about that. I have seen a dyke representation in film and television my whole life. And we're always portrayed as, especially butches, stupid, fat, beating our girlfriends. Always. This was the first time I'd ever seen my character, Butch, that was smart. Not only was she smart, she's the fucking smartest person in that prison, and anybody in the show will tell you that. Funny, really funny. And at first she was kind of scary, but that was the point. You have to do what you have to do to survive in prison.
Yeah.
So she put on a scary face, but then you got to see that she was actually like most butches, crusty on the outside and marshmallow on the inside, you know? And that was one of the reasons I really enjoyed bringing her to life. And when Lauren wrote her backstory, when Lauren Morelli, you know, who's with Samara, right? Wrote her backstory, I called her, and I will admit openly I was crying. I called her and I was crying, and I said, it's like you've read my diary. I mean, we butches have a very shared experience in life. We all do. We can tell you right now, anybody who has been as masculine presenting as I have their entire life has had the exact same experience as was written about in that episode. It was really, and I remember at the time thinking, I hope this does for butches. And I very clearly mean butches, not just lesbians. I hope this does for butches what Laverne's backstory did for trans people. And I think it did. I think it did, you know?
Yeah.
Because we were disappearing. You couldn't find a butch.
Wow.
But that's something that was happening in our community. Most of the butches were, upstate in Woodstock raising llamas because they just got sick of being spit on by the community. So, Nelly fags and butches, we've always been spit on by the community. And I think Orange really brought us to the forefront. And I'm seeing a lot of young butches again, which makes me very happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gotta hurt to have done that for the community and now feel like everything is...
Hurt is the wrong word. I'm just going to say it again. Yeah, no.
Right.
Hurt is the fucking wrong word. And that's where, you hear me screaming.
Yeah.
And again, I'm Sicilian. So, I don't, the difference between, a Sicilian and a WASP is we don't get out of the shower to pee. You know what I mean? We are very much in touch with our fucking rage. Yeah. And that's what it does. It makes me, it infuriates me to have my life's work, right? Being taken, it's my life's work.
Yeah.
You know, you don't wake up in the 1980s and say, today I'm going to be a professional lesbian.
Yeah.
Right? You just don't. But I did. Mm-hmm. And I did it for a fucking reason. I wanted to change the world and get laid. Not necessarily in that order, but that's what I wanted.
Yes.
And this, see me, I'm like this. If either of them were in the room right now, I swear to God, I would pick up anything heavy and start beating them over the head.
Yeah.
And that's what we should be doing. We should be picking up heavy things and beating them over the head.
Yeah. I want to end on that message because I think that's what our generation needs to hear. And I really appreciate you being here and sharing and teaching me a lot. And I really don't take for granted having access to conversations like this. So
that's
truly,
great. Let's make out.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But, you know, my fiance will kill you. Just, you know, yeah. She's without a doubt a Jew. She'll kill you.
She'll be picking up heavy shit and beating me over the head with it.
That's correct.
Can you tell people where to find you?
I'm Real Lea DeLaria on everything. So Real and then my name on everything. Twitter, Instagram, all that. You know.
And your show.
I don't do Facebook.
You don't do it, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not 3,000 years old. I'm only 66. These things are really important. One, I do a brunch show at 54 Below here in New York, the second Sunday of every month. It's called Brunch is Gay. And every month I do a different show. Every month I have a different guest. And I pick them from all the things in my life, right? So, you know, I've got like 5 records out on the Warner Jazz label. So, for example, Janice Siegel of the Manhattan Transfer, who has 9 Grammys and is one of the world's greatest jazz singers, has been my guest, right? Isaac Mizrahi has been my guest. Tony winners have been my guests. You know what I mean? Comedy, fucking Jackie Hoffman, you gotta come see me with Jackie Hoffman because all I do is fucking laugh. So yeah, every month, different theme, every month, different guest, every month, different show. We do duets together. We're singing songs we've never sung before, so the lyrics are in front of us, and it's just loose and fucking hilarious. And you know, brunch is gay. We invented brunch. You know what I mean? Brunch is gay. Yeah. And, you know, it's just a reason for daytime drinking, or as I call it, drinking. So come see that. I am also in Titanic, which is running off Broadway, which besides my brunch show is probably the gayest show I've ever seen in my life. And yes, I've seen O'Mary. I'm just going to say Titanic is beyond gay. And the beauty of me in Titanic is that I play Ruth, the mother of Rose. If anybody's, obviously, it's all based on the movie. It's a farce. It's a comedy. It's based on the movie, told by someone being Celine Dion and singing, and it's the Celine Dion songbook that's in the show. And my character, it has always been played by a gay man. I'm the first woman to do it. So my character is like, she's Rose, she's Ruth when she's Ruth, and that's how Ruth talks, until she becomes Lea DeLaria, which is part of the conceit. I can fucking ad-lib and pretty much say anything I want during the show, which I do.
Wow.
And it's always hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible. A lot. It's a comic stream role.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we will be going to both. I can't.
Oh my God. It's so goddamn funny. This is probably the most talented cast I've ever worked with.
Wow.
Except for POTUS. Sorry, I'm going to say POTUS because, come on. I mean, Vanessa Williams and Julianne Hough and Rachel Dracht and me and Susie Nakamura and, you know, Julie White, just the Lily Cooper. I got to say them all, right? It just a great cast. So besides POTUS, this is the most talented cast I've ever worked with.
Wow. Okay.
They are insane. I'm telling you, it's crazy funny.
Okay, we play a game.
Okay.
It's called You Haul or You Ghost.
Here we go.
She's perfect in it. Pretend your fiance isn't a part of the picture. We are out back in the dating world, and we are red flag, green flag in it.
Okay.
She's perfect in every single way. Like, this is your dream girl, except for this one quirk.
Which is?
Okay. You go on a date. It's a great date. You leave the date, and then she Venmo requests you for the date.
Red flag.
Red flag.
Red flag.
You're ghosting.
I'm ghosting.
For half.
Okay.
For half the date. For half the date. Yeah, half the date.
Ghosting.
It's ghosting. Okay, so who pays?
I do.
You do.
Always.
Always.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a gentleman.
Okay.
I love doing that to you, Gen Zs.
You're like, no, I'm the boy one.
I always pay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just my thing. And if I don't have, like when I would go out on a date and if I didn't have money, like if there was a time in my life where I was truly broke. I mean, look at me. So yeah, I was broke. I made my money off of lesbians' extra money. So there you go. I would fucking borrow money from a friend
you
to go on a
would?
date. Yeah, of course.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What about if she asks you why you're not responding after a couple of hours?
After a couple of hours,
Yeah.
I put a hit on her. A couple of hours?
But it's your dream girl. Like, to me, if you're
I guess I forgot that part. Because she's not my dream girl if she Venmos me and asks me why I'm ghosting her in a couple of hours. Just saying.
Okay, fair.
Honey, I once walked out on a date because she used incorrect grammar. You think I'm kidding, but yeah, it's a fact.
What did she say?
She said, I seen you.
Oh. I see.
And I gave her a chance to take it back. I went, you seen me like that? And she went, yeah, I seen you before. Oh, no. And I went, I got to go to the bathroom and walked out of the bathroom.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you are an actual ghoster.
Oh yeah, I'm an asshole.
Oh my God.
Everybody knows I'm an asshole, honey.
Oh my God, I'm just learning this. Okay, well, I think that you're not gonna like this one. Maybe you will. What about if she pushes you away because she likes to be chased? She likes the push and pull.
Oh, now she's really my dream girl because I love to chase a woman.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big chaser. If I'm in a bar and ladies, if I'm in a bar and you come up to me, you've lost. Oh. Don't come up to me.
Oh, I see.
If you sit at the end of the bar and kind of make little eyes at me and bat your eyes and look really cute and sexy, you got me.
Then you're toxic. Thank y'all for listening to today's episode. As always, help us spread the gay agenda by writing an Apple review, rating us on Spotify, and sharing with everyone you've ever met. And if you haven't yet, join our subscription community, Made It In, for exclusive Made It Out media shows, content, and chat rooms at madeitout.supercast.com. Made It Out is produced by Matilde Jordan and worked on solely by lesbians.
First date, second round. Third time, we've broken the bed. IKEA can't help. It's possibly the worst haiku I have ever, in my life.
Yeah.
See, first date, second round. Third time we've broken the, it's a haiku.
Yeah.
Wow, it sucks.
Are any of the other, do you like any of the other ones?
No.
No.
Laughter tangled in soft sheets? What the fuck is wrong with you bitches?